Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy Friday. I hope you're all having a wonderful week and you're excited for a nice weekend upcoming. So welcome in if you're new here, welcome back if you're a regular. I'm happy you guys are here, and today we're doing a little bit of a different video. So we are building a massive multi-generational family home in Copperdale. Now this isn't something that I usually do. I haven't built a massive family home in forever, but I was watching Jessica Pye and I absolutely adore her videos, and she inspired me to build today, so that is what we are doing. I absolutely love building massive family homes. I know some of you guys who are like the OG viewers of mine would know that, but you guys know that I am obsessed with family builds in general, whether that's apartments or homes, either or. Always in love with family builds, so that is what we're doing today. So we do have a grandmother, we have two parents, we have a daughter who has her own child, who is obviously, she's a young adult, she is a single mom, and she has a little infant little girl, and then we do have a teenage girl and a child girl and a boy, if that makes any sense. That was a lot to take in. So grandmother, two parents, elder daughter with a baby, a teenager, and two children, a girl and a boy. There we go. The children aren't twins. The little boy is the youngest of the family, other than of course the infant that is a grandbaby. So we do literally have 3 generations living here, which is pretty cool. Like I said, I haven't built a massive family home in a while, but it's definitely something that I adore, and it's so fun having such a massive build, and you know, quite a clear-cut storyline in my head at least. It definitely makes it more exciting to build because I have got like a vision of how I want it to appear, I suppose. So I do sometimes struggle with the fact that the builds are massive, and that can be off-putting, especially as a new builder. Not that I'm a new builder, but for other people, I mean. I do often get questions of like, you know, what are your roofing tips or your building tips? Honestly, my biggest tip ever is to start off with base game shells. Don't worry about the interior. The interior is a lot easier than the exterior. When you are new to building, doing the roofing is probably the hardest part, and I know a lot of you guys have commented saying that you do struggle with the roofing, which I completely understand. I definitely still do at times. This one wasn't too bad, to be fair, but you know, it's definitely something that I'm still learning, and it'll always be a thing that I'll need to improve on. You know, no build is easy when it comes to roofing, in my opinion. But my biggest tip would definitely be to start off with base game shells, because that's what taught me how to build. Back when the gallery had like an actual number for how many downloads you got, I was obsessed with like getting that number higher, and base game shells were what got me my numbers. But it definitely taught me how to build, and I personally think that it's just a really good way to learn, because you're not focused on having so many options. You know, when you do have every pack in your game, which I do now, I'm very grateful that I do now. I have paid for all of them myself. I wasn't gifted any by EA. Now that I'm an EA partner, I will be in the future, but I did pay for all of them myself. So I am very fortunate that I do own all of the games, but it has taken 10-11 years. But you know, I think when you do start building, it's useful to build with just base game, because then you don't become overwhelmed, and it is a lot to take in when there's so many options. So anyway, now we are working on the exterior of the build still. We are adding in some colours. I used to do this part off camera, but I decided to include it for today because I wanted you guys to see my full process of how I do my builds. I always struggle a little bit with the wallpaper colour on the exterior and with the windows, but I kind of really like how it turned out. I want it to have quite an old-fashioned style to it. I feel like this world in general is quite old-fashioned, and I really like that. I think it definitely gives off, like, I don't know what era you'd call this, but in the city that's closest to me, a lot of the houses look like this, which is a very old-fashioned style. My grandmother's house used to have this like paneling on it like this, but it was black and white, not brown and whatever colour that is. I wouldn't really call it white, but so it definitely gave me like an old-fashioned vibe, which I really like. I kind of imagine that perhaps the grandmother did help pay towards this house. I do think the parents bought it with their own money, but I think perhaps the grandmother kind of like, you know, persuaded them to go for a more old-fashioned house. So the mother who is staying here is the father's mother, much to the wife's dismay. So a little bit of the backstory. I think that's probably my favourite part of watching speed builds is the backstory, so I hope you guys like it. But just a bit of the backstory. The dad is a businessman. He works all of the time. He's very rarely home, but they are very fortunate that they do have this massive house, so, you know, the wife doesn't mind too much. The mum used to be a stay-at-home mum when her children were small, but now she does run her own business as an artist, so she's very creative, and she's not very, you know, into having a really extravagant life. She doesn't really mind where they live. Obviously she's fortunate they do have a really nice house, but honestly she's just very down to earth, and she doesn't really mind where she lives as long as she's with her family. But of course she's not complaining that she has a nice house. And the grandmother, I don't feel like the mother and the grandmother get on particularly well. I don't think they're like enemies or anything, but I think there is a little bit of hostility between the two of them perhaps. But the grandmother did move in after her late husband passed, unfortunately. So after the son lost his dad, his mum did move in with him because she was across town and it was a little bit too much for her on her own. So she does now live with them. So I know that the wife understands, but she's still a bit like, you know, she still likes her own space, and I think her mother-in-law was quite opinionated, which is never good. So that is a little bit of the story, which I think is really cute. I think is a really cute storyline. Obviously not the fact that she lost her husband, RIP, but I think it's quite realistic. I just choked on nothing. I think it's quite realistic, and I just really like the setup. So they do have a teenage daughter who is their second born. They have an older daughter who also lives with them, who has a baby, which I think that the grandmother is a little bit opinionated on, the fact that she isn't living with her partner. The father of the little infant, the grandbaby, I don't think is in the picture anymore. I think maybe they had like a massive falling out and he's now with another lady, so there's a lot of drama. I think that the daughter with the baby, I think that she's content with her little life. She's happy being a single mom. I think that maybe she's around like, I don't know, 23 or something. I kind of pictured her as quite a young mum, not necessarily a teen mom, but just quite young. And then she does have a sister. So the teenage daughter of this household, she is very girly and she's into makeup. She's got her own like YouTube channel, and she's quite, you know, what's the word, outgoing. So I think that the teenage daughter is quite outgoing. And then we do have two children, a girl and a boy, like I said, but they're not twins, they're not the same age. And the little girl, she is into art, she likes drawing, and she's just a really nice girl. I think she gets on well with her big sister. They have similar interests, so that's a really nice relationship. And then they do have a little brother who I was kind of imagining maybe the teen was around 15, 16. The daughter was around 8 years old and the son was around like 5, 6 years old. So he's still quite young, but he is obsessed with space. So his room is space themed. I think it's just really cute. I think they all get on very well. I think perhaps the two younger kids don't get on as well, just because they are quite close in age and they're always fighting for their mum's attention, and especially their dad's attention because he's not home as often. So that was a little bit of the story. And then of course the older sister and her teenage sister, they get on quite well because they are similar in ages, sort of, not really, but the teenager does help look after the baby when the older sister is busy. So I just think they have a really nice relationship. But anyway, that is a little bit of the story. So now moving on to the interior. We're now working on the floor plan. This house includes 5 bathrooms and 6 bedrooms, which is crazy. The grandmother does sleep downstairs because I kind of felt like maybe they didn't have necessarily a designated room for her. So the son did make up his office for her. So they do have a downstairs bedroom for her, and the only problem is that the bathroom isn't connected. The bathroom is connected to the kitchen, so she does have to walk around a little, but you know, it wasn't a designed bedroom, it was meant to be an office, so it is what it is. But I really like how it turned out. Honestly, this entire, when I say apartment, then this entire build turned out way better than I thought. I absolutely adore the exterior, and good news guys, whether it'll stay like this, I don't want to jinx myself, but I actually managed to fix the fan, and currently it's behaving, so when I'm building it's not like an aeroplane's going to take off. Whether it'll stay like that is questionable, but for now it's working, so that's always good. So now we're finishing up on the floor plan. Like you can see, the floor plan did take me a while because it is massive. It is a massive build. I did end up shortening the kitchen slightly, which is this bump out at the back, because it was a little bit too big. Only by like 1 or 2 tiles, but still, just thought I'd inform you guys. But I really like how it turned out, and the view is stunning. I eventually do like a pool in the back garden, and it is gorgeous. The fact that we have this incredible view is just, I want to be there. But yeah, so now we're just finishing up on the exterior. I did include like a little porch area as well, because I felt like it needed something. I didn't want to include decking because it didn't really feel very it's not a very modern build, which I felt like, you know, decking was more suited for a modern build, so I did just give them a little porch area so they could walk out of their house. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the floor plan, and then we start on the kitchen. So when it comes to the kitchen, I was a little bit unsure how I wanted it to be set up initially, so like I said, I did narrow it down slightly. I did make the room a bit smaller because it was a massive, and having massive rooms is a little bit overwhelming sometimes. I didn't want to overwhelm myself because I really wanted to enjoy building this build. I didn't want to give up on it, because sometimes I start building and I'm like, it's just too much work, and I don't necessarily give up, I just kind of put it aside for a while, and then, you know, it takes a while to get back into it. So this build, I was like, no, I'm sticking to it. It only took me 4 days to complete, on and off. Obviously I wasn't building consistently. I've got a lot of stuff that I'm working on at the moment, and it's all very fun, and this was just one of the things, and I definitely wanted to make sure that I got it done. So here we are. So this is their kitchen, of course, in case you couldn't tell, and I did mess around with the island quite a bit because I wasn't sure how I wanted it to be laid out. I knew I wanted to have an island, but everything just seemed a bit too big for the space, and I didn't know what kind of shape I wanted, and it all looked a bit funny. And then I was like, you know, I kind of want to put some chairs on the side, so I did end up changing it yet again, and I think it turned out good in the end, but it was a little bit fiddly, but we got there in the end, so it's fine. I really like how it turned out. I think the colour scheme is really nice, and it's not too big. I think it definitely could have been bigger, which is a good thing, because I didn't want it to be too big, because then, like I said, it becomes overwhelming, and it's not so fun to play in when the build is just abnormally huge. It's just like, I don't know, like I was saying in yesterday's build, I don't like mansions. I think building mansions in the game and even playing in them is just, it's so overwhelming. It's not fun for me personally, and you know, I'm quite an experienced builder now. I have been building in The Sims 4 at least for, gosh, how many years? 8 years. I think 2017 was when I kind of started building, but primarily it was from 2020 onwards, because I did get a gaming PC. So, you know, I am quite experienced in building, and it's not something I particularly enjoy. So if you are a new builder, I really don't recommend building massive builds. This one is fine. I think this is like, you know, reasonable, but when it comes to mansions, just don't do it. I'm not saying never do it, because they can be fun, but I think decorating the exterior of a mansion is a lot more fun than the interior, because it's so overwhelming when the rooms are so big and you don't really know how to fill them properly without it looking a bit ridiculous. But I really think that this house was kind of the perfect size. It wasn't too big, it kind of fit perfectly, so I hope you guys like it. But I did make sure to include as much as possible, in case you couldn't tell. So we do have a little bit of everything. I think the only thing we don't have is a gym, which I guess I could have included. We do end up having a yoga room upstairs, which I kind of feel like is the mum's little like safe space away from like her hideaway from her mother-in-law. And the mother-in-law has her own little gardening patch in the garden, and it's just really cute. It's a really cute family home, so it is up on my gallery if you guys would like to download it on my ID, Laura Abby X, on the gallery. So if you would like to download it, it is available to you guys. I made sure to upload it before I did this video, so it's already up, which is a rarity for me. You guys know that I'm always really late when it comes to uploading the builds, but I actually managed to do it today, and yeah, so I do apologise as well, this video is like mega long, but I am literally, I like timed the speed of this video by 4, but even then if I did it any faster, it would look like your eyes just couldn't follow it. So I didn't want to speed it up too much, but I also didn't want it to be really long. But it ended up being like, you know, over half an hour, so it's fine. We're allowed some long videos sometimes. I just hope you guys like it, that's all. I don't really do long videos because they are a bit annoying when they are, like, you know, they go on and on. But when you're doing a massive build, it kind of happens. It just is what it is. So anyway, now we're working on the downstairs bathroom. There is only one downstairs bathroom, which is kind of strange considering the build's quite big. We do have 4 upstairs bathrooms. One of them is an ensuite as well. But yeah, so this is the downstairs bathroom. In an ideal world, the grandmother would have this bathroom connected to her room because her room is right behind it, and maybe she's trying to persuade them to put the door on the other side. But for now, it's still connected to the kitchen. I know I could have changed it, but I wanted this bathroom to be a communal bathroom, not just for the grandmother. But you know, she'd much prefer if it was just for herself. But I think it's just a really nice setup, and we do have a lot of the stuff from the sleek bathroom kit, the newest kit that is out in that bathroom. So anyway, moving on, we're now working on the grandmother's room. So this is her room. Like I said, I was kind of thinking that maybe before she moved in, it was the husband's, you know, office. But then when his mum decided she wanted to move in, I kind of felt like, you know, he felt sorry for her and didn't want to just, you know, put her up in the lounge or something. So he did designate his office to her, and then I did change where the office space was placed. We do have an office, and it's got some art stuff for the mum of the family. I also gave her her own TV because it kind of felt like maybe he had that in his office already, and I did put a lot of clutter in here because, you know, they still have a lot of their stuff from their bigger office, because obviously this room was the office. How many times can I say office in a sentence? So there's a lot of clutter in this room, and they did kind of, you know, downsize for their other office space. How many times? So there wasn't enough room to fit in all of their clutter. There we go. But yeah, I really like how it turned out. I think it's just a bit chaotic in this room. I think it definitely gives off grandmother vibes, but not like in like a creepy way, just like a lot of stuff, a lot of collectibles, I guess. She's got her makeup, she's got watches, she's got jewellery. She's just very, you know, she thinks of herself as very upper class. I think she's a bit of a drama queen. I think that she thinks the world revolves around her a little bit. I don't think she's a horrible person, but she's just a bit full of herself, if you will. And then we are now moving on to the first lounge. Now we do have 2 lounges, living areas, whatever you want to call it. So this is kind of like the hallway one, which of course is a little bit unusual, but it is, you know, kind of necessary because we did have a big open space. So I was like, you know, we're gonna put something there. I really like how it turned out. I think that it's just a really nice room in general. I think that the layout of this room turned out really nice. I did decide to include a fireplace as well, and this kind of like old-fashioned chair, which is from the basement kit. I can't remember what it's called specifically, but yeah, it kind of gave me grandmother vibes, so I did decide to include it because it looked quite retro. As you can see, I've done this the wrong way around, and the grandmother's room wasn't actually built in this video, this clip that I'm on about, I mean. I did this room first, but who really cares? No one. So now we're just adding in a little computer. I kind of imagine maybe that was one of the computers from the office room. I just really like this house, honestly. I haven't built a family home in quite some time because my fan has been driving me insane, but I fixed my graphics, updated some stuff, turned down the graphics in Sims. It made absolutely no visual difference, just the fan's behaving itself, so I'm crossing my fingers and my toes, if that's possible, and hoping that the fan behaves itself, because I love building, but it's been driving me crazy because the graphics card has been like on hyperdrive, which is just so frustrating. But I think I may have resolved it again, I don't know, but all being well. So if so, I will be doing a lot more builds, like bigger builds. So anyway, now moving on to the entryway of the house. I did just want to include like a little shoe rack. I say little, it's, you know, 3 tiers high, but you know, of course you've got lots of kiddos, so I wanted to include a lot of stuff, so it's very busy. But yeah, now moving on to the second lounge. Of course, this is the biggest room. and there was a lot of stuff. I didn't want to over clutter it as well though, because I think when you overdo it, it's just a bit overwhelming, and sometimes it makes it quite non-functional, and it's not so good. So I did decide to kind of, you know, be a bit, not moderate, that's the word, but I guess moderate how much I used. So it's not too much, and I just think it looks really nice. I love these sofas, their base game. We did get an update quite some time ago of different swatches, and I'm always like, yes please. So the different swatches are my favourite thing. I think there's just a lovely colour, and it really worked for this room, and it definitely gives off family home vibes, so I love it. But I did try to include, I do apologise for the camera moving then, my lighting was going a bit funny, but I did try to include some clutter in here without overdoing it, you know. I don't want to make it a bit like, I don't know, just too much. So I did go a bit more lightly on the clutter, shall we say, but that's quite difficult for me because you guys know I love my clutter. I was trying to find a lamp that worked as well, so I did go for this very tall lamp in the end. Whether it works or not is another question. But and then moving on, we are moving on to the dining room. Like I said, I didn't want to over clutter these rooms because I wanted it to feel very open and just very clean, I suppose. So the dining room is very snazzy. Imagine having a dining room this big. I think that those chairs are stunning. I think they're from Modern Luxe Kit, but quote me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know why I decided to put like a rocking chair here originally, and I was like, why are you putting that in the dining room? So I did end up changing it. So yeah, we did decide to put this dream home decorated chair in here in the end, which also kind of gives me grandma vibes. I don't know why, but like tall chairs just give me like old lady vibes. Not in a bad way, just, I don't know. It's just that aesthetic, I suppose. But that's pretty much it for this room. Again, I didn't put too much in here because I want it to feel very clean and open. I wanted it to have that like quite contemporary style, even though it is an old-fashioned home. And anyway, moving on, we're now working on their tiny office that the dad had to adapt into, and the mum does have her little, like, you know, artsy corner, which she is happy about. But you know, she did have a bigger space in the office before the mother-in-law decided she wanted to move in, so she is a little bit peeved, if you will. So I did decide to include an easel, of course, for the mother. I do end up putting in 2 easels because I kind of felt like perhaps the teenage daughter had an interest in art as well, because she's quite girly and, you know, into fashion and stuff. So I did include 2 easels, but I do that off camera at the end. So in the screenshots there are 2 easels. Actually, thinking about it, I don't even know if I photographed this room. I think I did, but I don't remember. So that is all for downstairs, and then we move on to the teenage girl's room. So this is the second daughter's bedroom. She is very much into fashion. She loves purple, in case you couldn't tell. She's very girly, and she has her own YouTube channel. She has a desk which is pretty. I really love this desk. I don't use it enough, honestly. I just think that it's stunning. And she does have a gaming setup as well, because every girl needs a gaming setup. I mean, who could live without Sims, honestly? And I did also include some pom-poms because I thought perhaps she was a cheerleader. I just really like this room. I'm not a girly girl in real life, but in The Sims, I think I am. I definitely sway towards pink more in the game. I really don't know why. I'm not complaining, but it's just really not my personal style in real life, so I'm not really sure why I sway towards it in the game, but it kind of happens, and I'm not complaining. So anyway, I did change the wallpaper a couple of times because it wasn't really popping the way I wanted it to, and I do decide to include another cupboard in here as well in a moment because I wanted there to be a bit more clutter in this room. I probably should have changed the wallpaper on this wall where all of the stuff is hanging, like the pom-poms, but I did decide to keep it plain in the end. I'm not too sure why, but I'm not complaining. It looks alright, so I don't mind. But yeah, I did include a lot of clutter on her desk as well because, of course, she is a teenage girl. There's a lot of stuff. She is trying to fit in all of her life in this one room, of course, so it's, you know, busy. So that's pretty much it for the teenager's room. I really like it. I just think it's really pretty. And then we move on to the first bathroom upstairs. This bathroom is for everybody. It's not an ensuite or anything. I think that it's just a very nice shape bathroom. I am using a lot of the Sleek bathroom kit items, so if you guys haven't already checked out that kit, I highly recommend. My giveaway for it has ended now, so I do apologise for anyone who didn't get a chance to enter, but I did advertise it all week, so everyone had a fair chance. We do have 4 winners, so congrats to those people. I hope you're enjoying the kits. Coincidentally, 2 of my friends won half of it. Completely random number generator, but you know, kind of cool for my first ever sponsored giveaway that 2 of my simmer friends who love the game actually won the packs. Again, completely random. It was not rigged in any way possible, just a complete coincidence, which is kind of cool. But yeah, and 2 other people who are my followers won the kits, so congrats to those as well. But yeah, now we're just working on the 2 seconds, sorry. I don't know what that was. Oh, strange notification on my phone. We are now working on the little girl's room. So like I said, she is very into art. She is very into like all things girly, and I just think that it's really cute. I really like this room. It's kind of a different style than I would usually do, but I think it turned out really nice. I'm not too sure on the bedside table combo, to be honest. It's a little bit close to the other cupboard. That's the only thing I would possibly change, but I mean, am I really going to be that picky? Internally, yes. Outside, no, probably not, and won't change it, but I'm allowed to think it. Anyone else do that, where you're like set on something and then later on you look at it and you're like, am I in love with it? No, but am I bothered to change it? Nah. So anyway, that is the little girl's room, and I'm moving on to the older sister's room. So this is the daughter who has the little baby, and she does have quite a big bedroom. I wanted it to feel very lived in. It was quite a difficult space to decorate though, because it was quite long, which is, you know, a little bit of a struggle sometimes. Like I was saying, when it comes to building big family homes, it can be a struggle to fill in the space. So finding like a comfortable level of stuff without it being overdoing it, it's quite difficult sometimes, and it's something I'm working on as a builder. And if you are new to building, it's something that I recommend you guys doing. Just trying to fill the space as realistically as possible. Don't just put stuff in there for the sake of it. I think a lot of people do build big builds and then you're like, how am I actually going to fill that? So that is probably my biggest tip for new builders, even not old builders, but you know, more consistent builders like myself. I don't like building massive rooms. I think this room in particular is probably like the ideal size, maybe like 4 or 5 by 4 or 5 is kind of like an ideal size bedroom in my opinion. But anyway, some people would argue that this is big. I know that my friend, coincidentally one of the ones who won the giveaway, The Sims Days, she has been my Sims best buddy since I was 14. We met through Simstagram, when I was only 14, and what was I going to say? Oh yeah, she doesn't like big builds. She much prefers building small builds. We're the complete opposite when it comes to building, but we also really enjoy each other's style, but it is very different than each other's, which I think is really cool. I love the creativity in this community, and there's so many talented people. So anyway, but she definitely wouldn't enjoy doing this build because it would be very overwhelming to her, whereas I don't really enjoy doing small builds, and that's the, you know, that's the good part of this community, is that there's so many different varieties of creators and we all create really cool things. And you know, I think it's interesting that you can really enjoy someone else's style even if it's not your own, which I love. So anyway, moving on, we're now working on the parents' bedroom, and this is the final bedroom. I don't love this room, to be honest. I don't know what threw me off. I think maybe the lamps aren't my favourite. So let me know what you guys think. I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I'm not like crazy about it. So anyway, I didn't know what colour scheme to kind of add in this room, and I knew it needed like a cupboard in the corner, but it just didn't really work, and nothing was like a brown shade, so I did go for another mirror. So I know we've got 2 mirrors, but I mean, who cares? Not me. So the mum of course does have a lot of mirrors because she's, you know, perfecting her glow, but it doesn't really matter. It's just I'm not in love with that room, but that's okay. You don't have to love every room. In particular, I do like this bathroom because it is very sleek bathroom vibes. Like I said, the newest kit I love. I think the newest bathroom kit is just stunning. Highly recommend if you guys don't have it. It is only $4.99 in pounds at least. But yeah, most of the bathrooms kind of look the same, but I did want to give each of them kind of like a little bit of a touch of their own uniqueness, even though they don't really, but we can pretend. I was actually watching Life Simmer's Generations Let's Play while filming this, and honestly guys, she gives me so much inspiration. It's literally been like 10 years since I've used to watch her. When she first started doing her Generations Let's Play, I was obsessed, and it just gives me so much nostalgia. So if you guys haven't checked out Life Simmer before, I highly recommend. I know probably a lot of you guys know who she is and really like her content, but if you haven't seen her videos before, I definitely recommend them. Although they are Sims 3 mostly, just putting that out there, but I mean, Sims 3 was where it was at the time. I used to play Sims 3 on my purple laptop as a 14-year-old. I was obsessed. But anyway, back onto the video. I get sidetracked too easy. I get too excitable. This is the mum's yoga room. It's her zen room. It's her escape from her mother-in-law. Not that she would tell her that, but we know that secretly. I didn't really put much in here because, I mean, it didn't really need much. I did include some like posters on the wall just to give them a bit of inspo, but other than that I was like, you know, we'll just stick to the items that they can use and that'll be it. And then we are finally, I've been talking for half an hour, we are finally on the last clip, which is the outdoors. Don't get me wrong, I love showing you guys my builds, but talking for half an hour straight just to yourself on your recording device is kind of daunting sometimes. It is kind of funny though. I am such a quiet person in general, or used to be. I'll say used to be because I'm not really anymore. I keep to myself. I don't really like socialise. I don't like going out, but I'm also very confident at speaking now. I think being a YouTuber and being like someone who voices over a lot of content, it's definitely made my confidence grow a lot. If you guys don't know, I'm a performer, I'm a singer, or used to be. Again, don't really do it anymore, but going on stage doesn't faze me at all. Well, maybe a little bit, but not really. But talking in public has always been like my most dreaded nightmare in the world, whereas now I'm alright with it because I'm used to doing it every day. And knowing that a lot of people will listen to you and have an opinion on you can be scary. But if you are new, just be yourself. If you're doing this or you want to start doing this, because I definitely wanted to do this when I was younger, and if you are younger, if you're just starting out and maybe you're a teenager or, you know, in your 20s, or honestly any age, if you're looking to start doing content like I do, then just go for it, honestly. It can be scary, but you definitely learn to just love it. And it's not scary in the end. You have days where you're like, do I have anything to speak about? But you always find stuff to talk about, or I do anyway. I could talk for days about my sim stuff, but if it's something that you're passionate about, then it just comes easy, I suppose. Maybe that's why I didn't do well in school as well as I wanted to, at least, because I wasn't passionate about it. I didn't enjoy it, you know. Science, I was like, give me a Sims essay and I'll talk for days. But yeah, I just think that it's important just to give things a go. But anyway, back on to the content. I get sidetracked. This is their back garden. How pretty is this back garden? I think that it's absolutely stunning. I love the way it looks. I just think that it's so pretty. And we have a pool. Oh my goodness, I would literally do anything to have a swimming pool in my garden. It would never be in use if I had one in Wales, UK, because it is constantly raining, and if it's not raining then it's freezing. It's very grey today, so there's less motorbikes out. I say that as a really loud car goes past, but yes, it just would never be in use. So whenever I get the opportunity to include a pool in The Sims, I'm using it, because look how stunning this is, and the view of like the river behind them. Like, I would do anything to have this as my aesthetic in my garden. My love for summer is just, it's coming, it's really coming. I don't love summer because it gets too hot sometimes. You can never please a British person, honestly. If it's winter, it's too cold. For summer, it's too hot. But I am so done with the winter. I can't wait for summer. So building a pool, I was like, Please just let it be summer. But anyway, back on to the build. We are now working on the garden area. I did want to make sure there was something for the kids, so I did include a swing. The swing is honestly stunning. I think it's from Businesses and Hobbies, the newest expansion, so definitely recommend. That expansion is honestly like a hidden gem. It's like not something I would necessarily go for if I wasn't a YouTuber, but it's really good. There's a lot of cool stuff in it and a lot of different opportunities, I guess, as gameplay as well as build stuff. There's so much good in it. But yeah, I'm gonna stop yapping now. I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed today's build. Let me know if you would like some more home builds, if there's any specific videos you'd like to see. But on that note, I'm going to end the voiceover. So I wish you all the most wonderful day. I may post a video tomorrow, I'm not too sure yet, but we'll see. It might be an LP episode. But anywho, I appreciate you guys. Like always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, share with a friend, turn that notification bell. It really helps my channel out, and I'll see you guys next time for another speed build. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.
I don't care where the motor stops, cause when I want it, then I want it, yeah, I want it, oh I want it, let's go. Look around, where's the people at? I want a taste of the good life, hit me with it, right now I'm in it. Cause when I want it, then I want it, yeah, I want it, oh I want it, let's go. And I won't look back, yeah, I don't care about the bad shit back home. It's Cincinnati, baby, I just wanna let it go. Nothing matters when we're way out here, oh yeah. Baby, I don't have to know your real name, I'm just addicted to the way you take the pain away. Nothing matters when we're way out here, oh yeah. Cincinnati, baby, Cincinnati, baby. Say, yeah, Cincinnati, baby, Cincinnati, baby. It's 2 a.m. when we close the bar, but we're in the get-go. Next place, give me some more. I could dance with you beneath the stars, cause when I want it, then I want it, yeah, I want you. Everything stops when you